Top of the table clash against a team I have supported for 25 years. What more could you possibly want from an episode? Hello and welcome to part 46 of the Bolton battle. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have the big one. In fact, two big ones. We're playing both the boroughs, but the big one, we are playing against my beloved Posh, who are 3 points clear of us at the top of League One. We're playing them at home. We're back in reasonable form, and there is a chance that if we have a 2-goal turnaround, in fact, a one goal turnaround. I don't know how this works. If we beat them, we go top. I think that's the bottom line. Unless we beat them 1-0, in which case we don't. So we need to beat them 2-0 or better. And then we go top of the league, I think. Is that how it works? It's very confusing. Anyway, we could go top of the league, playing Posh. And then in the second part of the episode, we play against Middlesbrough, who are... they're having an odd season. That's a strange one. They're not in very good form at all. But fingers crossed, by the end of this episode, we'll have seen the team I've supported all my life. See how they're getting on in the year 2038. And also, hopefully, we'll see Bolton return to the top of the League One. This has been our form since you were last with me. So, couple of 4-goal rushes. We've had Wayne Pennock banging in loads of goals. We've had Mark Parnell banging in 4 goals in one match against Crewe. And then we enjoyed ourselves against Canvey Island in the FA Cup. So, this is the team that we're going to be playing today against Posh. It's always a bit of a struggle playing against them. I haven't played against Posh since Ipswich were battling with them for promotion from the Championship. Must be 10 to 15 seasons back now. I can't even remember when it was. So they're going to be a completely different Posh side from the one I remember. But still got to beat them, haven't we? So in goal, we've got Jordan Barrett, and then a back three of Thomas, Pants and Bagley, with Booth and Jennings as our fullbacks, which isn't ideal at all. Why are Booth and Jennings our fullbacks? Because Alonso and White are both suspended. How have they both got suspended at the same time? They were both suspended for the last match as well. Do you get a 2-match ban for 10 yellow cards? That can't be right. Well, there you go. They're suspended. So we've got our backup wing backs. We've got Key and Durant in midfield with John Jones. In behind, Shaw and Parnell. Wayne Pennock will feel a little bit hard done by not to be in the side, but Shaw played really well against Canvey Island and plays really well with Parnell. And Parnell is just in scintillating form. He's averaging an 8 over his last 5 games and now has 13 goals from 16 starts in the league and 5 from 5 in the cup. You've got to play to his strengths, and playing to his strengths means playing Joe Shaw alongside him and John Jones in behind him. So that's what we're going to do. I am a little bit worried that we're going into probably our biggest game of the season without arguably our 2 most important players in the 2 wing backs. But, if we can pull this off today without them, then we're looking good for the title, really, aren't we? Because the team's only going to get stronger when the 2 low-knee fullbacks get back into the side, because everyone knows the key to a good football team is the fullbacks, or at least that's what you should have learnt from watching this channel over the last however many months. Always fullbacks first. That's where you want to be spending your money. That's Kev's tactical tip of the day. More of a transfer market tip, I suppose, but fullbacks are where it's at. If you've got £1 million to spend, £2 500,000 fullbacks. That's all you need for a successful side. At least in this version of Football Manager, when deep crossing is crazy overpowered. Then just get a couple of lump strikers up front to nod in 30 goals a season each, and you're well away. And that's the key to success in FM16. Although Glenn Jennings has just missed out, showing why fullbacks are so important, because our reserve one hasn't done very well there at all, but the reserve on the other side nods it clear. But Posh are still pressing us. And luckily, the highlight ends, even though they were buzzing around on the edge of our penalty area. I think we've escaped a little bit there. But who's going to complain? I'm certainly not. I guess 0-0 at half-time would be fine. We are, with the injuries, with the 2 suspensions that we've got, I'd be happy not to lose this game, because I would expect Posh to win when we're basically taking our main attacking threat out of play completely. That being said, Glenn Jennings is a perfectly adequate fullback at this level. Booth, perhaps not so much, but Jennings, if he's got his head in the game, should be a force to be reckoned with. And I don't know what happened there. I was just about to say it was a good cross, but Durant didn't do anything with it. And then suddenly the ball snuck in. I don't understand what's happened. Is their keeper just dropped that over his line? In which case, not entirely sure why it hasn't gone down as an own goal. So Jennings with the first cross. Shaw knocks it back to him. Jennings crosses again on his weak foot. Durant then heads. I mean, it was an odd one. The keeper probably should have saved it. I mean, it was a well-placed header, certainly. Puts us 1-0 up. And if we can grab a second, if my maths is right, that would put us top of the league. At the moment, we're level on points and level on goal difference. And Posh have got us on goals scored because they've scored, I think, 4 or 5 more goals than we have. But obviously, if we can get another one, that's going to put us ahead of them on goal difference, which would be marvellous. It would be a very satisfying way to mosey on into the second part of the episode. Right, we're going to bring Ainley on for Parnell because Parnell's not really turned up today. In fact, neither has Joe Shaw. So, do we bring Semedo on or do we bring Pennock on? I don't know how you don't bring Pennock on, although these two don't really play particularly well together. But Semedo, I've not been massively impressed with since he burst onto the scene with a couple of goals in his first few games. And Wayne Pennock is just in good form. I don't know how. We've got too many strikers and they're all quite good. Oh, for goodness sake, what was Glenn Jennings doing there? Luckily, Pants had him covered. Pennock is in there. Should have probably done a little better, maybe, although it was a very tight angle. I'm probably basing that on the fact that he scored a lot of goals recently. But Pants has just put us 2-0 up, and that should put us top of the league, and it has. If things stay as they are, we've battled our way back to the top of the league, which is no mean feat because Posh were 6 points clear of us at one point. I know earlier in the season we were 5 points clear of them. So it is a little bit up and down between us at the moment. But to claw back a 6-point deficit over the course of probably only 7 or 8 games is awesome. Right. I think I will bring Semedo on now. Bring him on for John Jones. And we'll just bring all 3 of them on. Do that. Why not? Give Semedo a chance to go and nab a goal. A goal against Posh is going to be a massive confidence builder for them. They're going to score here, aren't they? No, Barrett collects, holds on to it well. And I just don't want to concede a goal. I don't want to come out. Why have they got a number 64 in their team? There's no way they've got another 63 players at the club. Surely. If they have, they should be thrown out of the league for cheating. Oh, they've just hit the post. They've got a player called Boyd. Oh, how can you have a player called Boyd in a Posh team? He's called Barrington Boyd. How can you have a player called Boyd and not give him the number 10 shirt? With 3-0 up now, and when we're stuffing him at this point, I want to sign Barrington Boyd just because he's got an amazing name and obviously shares a surname as the finest player ever to play for Peterborough United, George Boyd. I wonder if it's his son. Barrington Boyd, son of the great Sir George Boyd. Look, he's even now on the left wing, the way George Boyd would have been. Oh, I want Barrington to get a goal. Go on, Barrington! Oh, right, we need to sign Barrington Boyd. We're sending the scouts at him in the moment. I can click on his name again. We're going to sign him whatever the price. We've got no money. But we're going to sign him whatever the price. Right, Barrington Boyd. Scouting. Please get scout report. Let's have a 4th goal. Oh, no. 3-0. There you go. We've won the match. We're top of the league again. Look at that. Who'd have thought? Right. Yes, we're top. Yes, we're going to win the league because we're great. How do we look at Barrington Boyd? Right. Peterborough United. Where is he? Barrington. Oh, he's on loan. Who's he on loan from? On loan from Chelsea. The chances of us signing him, whatever the price, have just fallen slightly. We've already got a scout report on him. I can't believe that if we had a choice between him and Mark Parnell, and I'd have noticed his name, that we wouldn't have signed Boyd. I mean, goals-wise and performance-wise, we made the right choice, but I absolutely would have gone for Barrington Boyd, just purely based on his name. So I obviously got the scout report after Parnell had already signed, but he's on the radar now. Expect Barrington Boyd to one day play for Bolton Wanderers. Right, just the one change needed for the second Bolton v Borough match of the episode. Incidentally, by the way, don't know why they call themselves Borough. It clearly is spelt Bruh in the name. There is only one Borough in the league, and that would be Peterborough, because it's Borough, not Bruh. But we'll just throw that one out there. Middlesbrough fans, let me know why you call yourself Borough when that's actually not how it's spelled. Tom White comes in for Ben Booth. because he's not suspended anymore. Enrique Alonso also not suspended anymore, but has now picked up a knock. He's going to be out for 4 to 5 weeks with a twisted ankle. Glenn Jennings has dropped his sulking about lack of football. He's still on the loan list. We need to take him off that because hopefully getting to have a running the team for 4 or 5 weeks. He's already played the last couple of games because of the suspension of Alonso, so it'll be sort of 6 or 7 week run of games for Glenn Jennings now, and it might be enough just to see him re-emerge and start to become this player again that he was when we were down in the conference in our first season in League Two. I still think he could end up being a decent player at this level. There you go. Look, potential to be a leading League One right back in the future. How old is he now? Oh, wrong button. He is 24 now, so the future needs to get a wriggle on, really. He hasn't got much more time for the future to materialise, so if he's ever going to become a leading League One right back, it really needs to be over the next month and a half when he's going to get a run in the team. So hopefully we're going to see awesomeness from Glenn Jennings, but more important than that, we want to see another Bolton win and us securing a space atop League One. It looks like Posh are already losing because we're now a point clear and we haven't done anything yet, although White crosses to no one in particular, but it was such a whipped cross that the goalkeeper or defender, I'm not even sure who it was, couldn't do anything at all about it, and it just bounces to Joe Shaw, who placed it really well from quite long range, really, considering he's just there to be a big lump for us to kick the ball at his head. But he's shown he's capable of some decent finishing. Look at that. I mean, it's just a dangerous cross. The keeper and defender can't decide who's taking that. And Shaw wasn't as far out as I thought it was, but it was still a nice, tidy finish into the bottom corner. Puts us 1-0 up. And as it stands, 3 points clear at the top of the league. I hope Posh aren't about to have a little crumble. I don't want it to be... I mean, I guess for Bolton fans, it's more fun if it's us against Blackburn. For me, much more fun if it's us against Posh for the title. So we'll have to see how things pan out. Right, White. I mean, that's the first bad thing I've seen him do in 2 seasons in a Bolton shirt. I don't really know what that was about. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we could knock a couple of goals in before half-time. And we can just relax a little bit for the rest of the episode, chill out. Have a little chat about the Euro. No, we're not going to talk about the Euros. No. Neither am I. Can't believe I wasted the chance to do an episode yesterday by watching something I won't mention on telly. If you're watching this in the future, you still know what I'm talking about. I mean, if you're watching this 100 years in the future, look, check the date. You still know what I'm talking about. Should have just sat in the garage and done a video. Would have been much happier. Not even checked Twitter, not find out the result. I'd be blissfully happy now. Right, enough of that. Why are we still only winning 1-0? Middlesbrough are not a good team at the moment. Is Sean Quinn in their side? We didn't have a look before the match. I know he has been the last couple of times we played him. Great save from Jordan Barrett there. And I thought John Jones was going to get a little bit of a break on there. Quinn's not in their starting lineup. Not to say he won't come off the bench. He usually does. We've played him a couple of times now, and he's come off the bench both times. I'd still quite like it to have him in and around the Bolton squad, but I guess he's not developed the way we all expected he would if he's not getting in a Middlesbrough starting 11 that's lower mid-table. If not, potentially part of a relegation battle if they don't stop the rot soon. I think they've lost 5 games on the bounce now. This would make it 6. Joe Shaw puts us 2-0 up. And they're on course for a 6th successive defeat. If Sean Quinn can't get into that side, perhaps we don't want him after all. Perhaps we're better off with John Jones. Lovely ball from Parnell there. I mean, look at that. Remember, 18-year-old Poacher's just done that pass. He is going to be a Premier League star. The amount of goals he scores and the vision and ability to be able to strike that pass from there. I don't know why we've not taken... I enjoyed it so much we haven't made any substitutions, but we probably should. Glenn Jennings is shattered because he's not played a full match or a couple of full matches back-to-back for goodness knows how long. So Alan Mitchell, we'll have a look at him as a wing-back. Someone did mention in the comments that he can play there and I completely forgot. So, yeah, Mitchell. We'll do it. Tell you what, triple substitution. Mr. Beige is going to come on for Bagley. And we're also going to bring on Lee Martin for John Durant. No point messing around with the strikers today because the two who are on the pitch have been superb. Both running at a 9 out of 10. Joe Shaw's on a hat-trick and Parnell can do no wrong. So we'll just leave them both on. See what happens. And the answer to that seems to be pretty much nothing because there's 25 seconds left. Can we nick a third here? Shaw is never going to beat anyone for pace in a million years. I could probably outrun him. I don't really know what we were thinking there. It should have been Parnell chasing that. Parnell seems to be the one dropping deep despite him playing as the poacher on attack and Shaw's the target man on support. It's like they've decided amongst themselves, Joe, you're on a hat-trick. We're switching roles. Look, I can play these lovely balls from deep. Well, don't. You're supposed to be the poacher. But can't really complain. They were both excellent. We're 2 points clear at the top of the league. Posh must have clawed it back to a draw in whatever game they were mucking about in. Where are they? Yeah, they had a 2-2 draw away against Walsall. 2-0 down at one point and got back into it in the 86th minute. Blackburn are the other team we're up against and they got absolutely thumped. Excellent. So, that'll do. That was a good episode. We top of the league again. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.